So I truly love the small apartment lifestyle. I just love living in a cozy little space that I can make my own. I mean, I love the small apartment lifestyle so much, I made an entire YouTube channel about it. But as much as I love the small apartment lifestyle, there is a major downside, and that is that storage can be an absolute nightmare. And as many of you know, that is the case with our current apartment. If you watched last week's video, which I will paste in the description below, or really any of my videos for the last year, you know that storage in this apartment has been my Achilles heel. But regardless of how tough the storage situation in this apartment is, my boyfriend Kobe and I feel, have come up with some pretty good solutions so far that have really helped. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through each of the ways in which we have tackled the storage issue in this apartment so that you can walk away with some storage ideas for your apartment. And if you're new here, my name is Steffi, and on this channel, I give small apartment styling tips and cozy living inspiration. So the first small apartment storage solution I'm going to share with you is our under bed storage. Under bed storage is key when it comes to making use of space in your tiny apartment. And in our case, it involves making use of drawers that slide in and out from under the bed. Kobe found these drawers on Amazon. I will link to them below. I definitely recommend them. They're quite sturdy and also aesthetically pleasing. So if you get a little peek of them under the bed, it still looks good. It doesn't look like, you know, how a plastic container would look. And I also very, very much recommend bed risers if you're in a really tiny place. Bed risers are what saved me when I lived in tiny apartments in New York City. Definitely look into getting bed risers that raise your bed up and make it so you have more space underneath your bed. In our case, we just needed a little bit more height in order for these drawers to fit under this particular bed frame. So Kobe came up with this clever solution of taking these little pieces of like thick fabric and stacking them on top of each other, which just gave us just enough extra height. They're basically the little cloth pieces that you buy to put under the legs of furniture to keep the floor from scratching, and Kobe just stacked a couple on top of each other. So these drawers that we have underneath our bed just basically, for Kobe, give him some more clothing storage space, and in my case, that is where I keep all of my jewelry. It's not exactly ideal having jewelry so close to the floor and having to like really like crouch down to adorn myself and my jewels. But again, you have to make allowances. And I have to admit, it looks really cool to have like a drawer of jewelry that I just pull out. And it's all nice and organized, and that's always pleasing. The next small apartment storage solution I'm going to share with you is my under desk storage. So as you can see, there is definitely not a lot of space underneath my desk. So I got a little creative and unconventional with my under desk storage. I was shopping at Target one day and I found this basket purse. And I thought to myself, well, that's just basically a basket. I mean, it's intended to be a purse, but I can use it as a storage basket. A regular basket for storage that you would find at like Target is gonna be on the lower side, and if I use that underneath my desk, you're gonna see all of the contents in there, and that's just added clutter. So I wanted something that would be more enclosed and would really hide the stuff that I'm storing. It's perfect for storing the things that I need at my desk, which in my case is hair stuff, because my desk is basically my vanity where I do my hair and makeup. I swear I use this desk as more of a vanity than an actual like workspace. So when it comes to small apartment storage solutions, I definitely urge you to think a little outside of the box. or outside the basket, so to speak. Just because this is a purse doesn't mean it can't be a basket. So think about how you can sort of retool certain things to suit your storage needs. My next small apartment storage solution has to do with the way we organize our closets. Our tiny, tiny little closets are the main pain point in this apartment. As someone who loves clothes, it's just not enough for me. I had to get rid of so many clothes that I probably should have gotten rid of anyway because of the whole not sparking joy thing. But still, even with the amount of clothes that I eliminated, this closet of mine is packed to the brim. But one thing to keep in mind when it comes to a tiny closet in a tiny apartment is to make use of the space that your clothes are not taking up. So for example, my clothes on the left side of the dresser only come down so far, and there's all this extra space that I can make use of. So in my case, I just bought, a cheap little plastic drawer unit from Target, and that makes for additional precious drawer space. So basically, in a tiny closet, just look for any opportunity to put additional storage. And since it's hidden, it can be something inexpensive and easy to find, like plastic drawers. Just my advice is to not use those plastic drawers outside of the closet or any concealed space because they're not exactly aesthetically pleasing, but they're functional. The next storage solution that we have implemented in this small apartment of ours is the IKEA wardrobe that we got when we first moved in. If you watched this video, which I will link to below, you saw our IKEA shopping experience, and I think that's where we found this particular wardrobe. And we were lucky enough to have the perfect little space for it in the hallway. This wouldn't be a solution for everyone because of course you need the additional square footage to actually fit the wardrobe. But if you have the space for something like this, I highly recommend it, especially if you have tiny closets where your clothes are all jammed up and squished in the limited space. Just get more closet space by getting something like this wardrobe from IKEA. I will link to it below, by the way. It serves an important purpose. Without it, I don't even know what we would do with all the clothes and stuff that's in there. And one fun thing you can do with something like this is, like what I did, is I got some cute little, almost antique looking knobs from Anthropologie. So that's how you can take sort of your average IKEA piece and just elevate it just a little bit. The next small apartment storage solution I'm going to share with you is what we've done with our hall closet, which is to set up a bread rack, also known as a baker's rack, also known as a deli rack. I have just learned. What's great about using a bread rack is it's very versatile. You can adjust the height. There's all these little holes or grooves that you can fit the shelves into. So you can adjust the shelf height as you need it. And it's just one of those really functional, versatile things that may not be much to look at, but it's really effective if you need some additional shelving inside a closet. Also, Kobe just let me know that they come in so many different sizes. So pretty much whatever size of closet you're working with, you'll probably be able to find a bread rack that will fit into that. So it's another one of those sort of out of the box storage solutions that you wouldn't necessarily think of, because you're taking something that is generally intended for bread or baking goods or for garage stuff. I think you see a bread rack in garages a lot for tools and whatever people put in garages. So on this bread rack, we just have additional kitchen stuff, food. It kind of acts as a kitchen pantry, and it really just comes in handy to create additional shelving storage space. And the final small space storage solution I'm going to share with you that we are implementing in our apartment is in our kitchen. And it's a very small, very simple addition that is really quite effective. Our kitchen storage is pretty straightforward. We just utilize our kitchen cabinets in combination with the hall closet with the bread rack. But the very simple yet effective addition is to simply utilize these little racks that we have. We have the rack that's on our countertop, which I got from Urban Outfitters, and it's pretty simple, but it's aesthetically pleasing enough for it to be out. And then we put our aesthetically pleasing plates on that rack. Aesthetically pleasing plates only. The other rack, which is less aesthetically pleasing, it's more of a kind of just metal rack, we use inside the cabinet, and it just gives us an additional little bit of shelving. So think about your own kitchen. Think about which plates and items you can have out on your counter. These again are the aesthetically pleasing things. So in our case, it's our blue plates with sort of the robin's egg speckling, and then some white plates. And then also think about the things that you would rather keep hidden. Maybe they don't match with the other things, or maybe they're just not quite visually pleasing, but they serve a functional purpose. Those are the things that go inside the cabinets, perhaps on the very basic metal rack. So even though it's really simple, this rack that I got from Urban Outfitters really comes in handy, because one thing we do have is a ton of counter space. And so why not make use of that by creating some storage that is also aesthetically pleasing? So there you have it. Those were the storage space solutions that we are currently doing in this apartment. Let me know in the comments below, what are some storage solutions that you implement in your small apartment? Are there any creative, clever things that you've done, or fun like storage hacks that you swear by? If so, share them below. And until next time, remember, your apartment is destined to be pretty, and you are pretty powerful.